Good evening. Again, welcome. Today we're going to speak about two topics. One is Shalom Bayit, and the second one is raising children. Now, we say in Hallel, this is a pasuk in Tehillim, Pithu li sha'arei tzedek, avo vam odeh yah. This is talking about a person coming to Shamayim. He's approaching the malachim, the angels, and he's telling them, Pithu li sha'arei tzedek, open for me the gates of righteousness, the gates of Gan Eden. Avo vam, I will come into them. I will enter these gates of Gan Eden. Odeka, and I will praise and thank Hashem. And he's expecting the gates of Gan Eden to open. And they're not opening. And he's again asking, Pithu li sha'arei tzedek, please open for me the gates of Gan Eden. Avovam, I want to come in. Odeka, and I will praise Hashem. And the malachim, the angels, tell him, Ze hashar ladonai. This is the gate of God, of Hashem. Tzadikim yavuvu. Only tzadikim are allowed to enter. And he feels so bad. Oi, they're not going to open the door for me because these gates are for tzadikim. And must be I'm not such a tzaddik because they're not opening for me. It's going to be the shock of his life. He's coming there, hoping soon he's going to go to Gan Eden. He's expecting, because the whole life he was observing mitzvot and he was serving Hashem, he was praying, he was learning Torah. He's saying, open the gates for me. This is a gate for me. And they say, no, tzadikim yavovo. This is a gate for Hashem. And they turn him away. Very, very sad. So what happened to him? Seemingly he was tzaddik his whole life. Where did he go wrong? Why the gates of Gan Eden are not opening for him? And Chachamim say, this is in Pirkei Avot, in Talmud, in Midrashim, it says that if Ruach Habriot nocha hemenu, if people like this individual, Ruach HaMakom nocha hemenu, then Hashem will like him. That means that even though this person observed all the mitzvot between him and Hashem, and he prayed and he learned a lot of Torah, but if people in general were not happy with him, he was bothering them, he was inconsiderate, he was not helping, then Hashem does not like him. And he closes the gates of Gan Eden before him. So sometimes someone once asked me, Rabbi, I understand that if people like you, then Hashem likes you. But is it true that just like in every other area of Judaism, we go after majority? So is it true that in this also Hashem is going to go after majority? And if majority of people like you, then Hashem will also judge you favorably. He will also like you. And I told him, no, because not every relationship in your life is equal. The more important the relationship is, the higher its status, and the more heavily it weighs on the scale of judgment. Therefore, those relationships that are the hardest and Hashem expects us to perform the best in them are the heaviest. What are they? And they are with people that are closest to us. Number one is our wife. Because the Talmud says, Ishto kegufo. Your wife is like your own body. Your wife is like your own flesh. And just like you are yourself, your wife is also you. Your wife is also yourself. Just like you have to treat yourself with dignity, with respect, with proper care. You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to exercise. You have to treat your wife with the same respect. You have to treat her with respect, dignity, care, feed her, allow her to exercise, take care of all her needs. Just like we know that if a person commits suicide, chas v'shalom, what will happen to him in Olam Haba? We say such a person is considered a murderer. But he didn't kill anybody. He only took his own life. It's his own life, isn't it? And we say no. Just like you did not bring yourself into this world, you cannot take yourself out of this world. Just like Hashem put you into this world and He gave you a job to do, only He can call you back from the battlefront. Only Hashem can say, the time of the test finished and I no longer need you in this world. Come back home to the place where your neshama came from. So we see that if you hurt yourself, it's considered a sin. A person is not allowed to kill himself, chas v'shalom. And on a lower scale, he cannot hurt himself in any way. He cannot starve himself. He cannot cause himself lack of sleep and cause himself to become weak by not doing exercise, by allowing himself to fall into an addiction, bad behavior or habit. All these things are forbidden. You're not allowed to hurt yourself, just like you're not allowed to hurt anyone. In fact, we say, if you have a choice to help your friend or to help yourself, you come first. If you have a choice to save the life of your friend or to save the life of yourself, your life comes first. You have to save yourself. Even though your friend might suffer, even though your friend might die, chas v'shalom, but your life comes first. It's the most precious possession that you have, your life. So too, your wife and her life come hand in hand with your own life, because we say, Ishto kegufo. Your wife is like your own body. So too, you cannot hurt your wife. Of course, we're not even talking about killing your wife. That's, of course, out of the question, just like murder and suicide. But what we're talking about is that just like you are obligated to take care of yourself, you are obligated to take care of your wife. So therefore, when a person comes to Shamayim and he says, Hashem, people liked me, people loved me, I respected them, I gave them gifts, I gave them compliments, I spoke to them, I spent time with them, I helped them. Whenever my friends called me, I ran to help them. Hashem, people liked me, therefore you should like me. Hashem says, let me ask the first person in line. Let me ask the most important person that I want to hear from you. Let me ask your wife. And the person says, oi, 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 please don't ask her. Please ask everybody in the world. Don't ask my wife, because she always has bad opinion about me. Hashem says, that's exactly what I want to hear. Because your wife will tell me the truth. She's going to tell me who you really are. When your friends call and you run to help them, you're not doing it because you really love to help people. You're doing it just so that they have good opinion about you. You're trying to impress them. Your wife is asking you for help. You say, my wife already knows who I am. I don't need to impress her because she already knows I'm a no goodnik. She already knows I'm a lazy bum. And therefore, it's not going to help. I don't need to help her. It's too late. But my friends, I can still save my face. They still think I'm a great guy, a great friend they can rely on. So let me run and let me help them. So you're not doing it for them. You're doing it only for yourself. Therefore, if they come and praise you, say, he's so generous, he buys lunch for us, that means nothing. Because you're only doing it for yourself, for a selfish reason. But what is the real measure of man's greatness is what his wife thinks about him. If his wife says he's a devil, he's an animal, he's a crook, he's a lowlife, chas v'shalom, that's exactly what he is, and that's what he is in Hashem's eyes, chas v'shalom. But if the wife says he's a malach, he's an angel, he's a tzaddik, that's what Hashem will treat him as. So, who do we need to impress in life? Our spouse. Who do we need to give the most to? Attention, finances, our physical strength. It is our wife, because it is our number one investment. The greatest investment of your resources is your wife. Of course, after you take care of yourself, after you have something to eat, after you take a nap and you have the strength, and we're going to speak about it, and patience, the next person in line is your wife. Not your friends, not your mother, not even your mother-in-law. The first person is your wife. And sometimes people ask me, Rabbi, my children need my attention. I don't have time for my wife. Ever since we got children, I'm taking them to training, to music lessons, to karate, to this and that, balobitar, and I don't have time for anything else. So the answer is, your children come second, your wife comes first. And therefore, whenever you think, I have free time, what should I do with my free time? The answer is, do something for your wife. Not for your boss, not for your children even, not for your friends, not for your mother-in-law, and not for your mother, not for your father, not for your brother, and not for your sister. For your wife. After you have exhausted all her requests and needs, only then you can say, okay, now who is next in line? And next in line are children. We're going to speak about them in a bit. So, if you want to come to Shamayim and say with confidence, open for me the gates of Gan Eden, I will come into them and thank Hashem and praise him. And you want to see the gates opening, what do you need to do? It's simple. Treat your wife like you want to be treated. This is the famous statement of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said, what is hateful, what ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כלל גדול בתורה. Love your fellow like yourself. This is a great principle of Torah. What does it mean? Great principle of Torah, as we said, you are going to be judged in Shamayim according to how you treated people, and especially your wife. This is the greatest principle of the Torah. And how to fulfill it, we need Hillel Hazaken. He says, Madesani Allah lehavrach lo tavid. What is hateful to you, don't do to your friend. What you don't want to be done to yourself, don't do to others. And now I'm going to give you a hint of an example. What does it mean? What is hateful to you, don't do to your friend. The Tzemach Tzedek in Derech Mitzvotecha says like this: what is the most hateful thing that a person has in his life? What is the most painful thing that every person hates? And he says that is hearing rebuke. If you hear someone unhappy with you, if you hear somebody rebuking you, that is the most painful thing in life. So he says, to this specifically we apply the dictum of Madesanya Allah, what is hateful to you, lehavrach lo tavid, don't do to your friend. And Rabbi Akiva says, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Our Chachamim say, who is reacha? Who is your beloved friend? That is your wife. Your wife is the number one friend, re'acha. Ve'ahavta, you shall love et re'acha, your friend, your wife, kamocha, like yourself. Before you love anyone else, you have to love your wife. You have to apply ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You should love your fellow like yourself, to your wife, and only to your wife, until you learn how to treat her like yourself. And only then spread your love to others. Therefore, when we realize that what is most hateful to us is when others rebuke us, we must say, I will not rebuke my wife. I will never point out her fault to her, whether it is about her body, whether it is about her performance in the kitchen, in the household cleaning, in the shirt ironing, in shopping, in taking care of children, speaking to my children, educating my children, speaking to my mother, and especially speaking to me. So many times I hear men say, oh, Rabbi, she looks at me the way I don't like. She speaks to me the way I don't like. So I tell her, why are you looking at me like that? Why do you speak to me disrespectfully? Why did you say this to my mother? Why there is not enough salt in my oshpalo? Why the children are not dressed? Why the diaper is not changed? Why the garbage is not taken out? Why the laundry is not made? And so on and so forth. Every moment of their life together, the only thing they do to their wife is to educate her, to rebuke her, to try to make her a better servant, chas v'shalom. And what happens? The wife hates it, just like you would hate if somebody would rebuke you. And if you have a wife that cares about you just like you care about her, and she is trying to make you a better person, and she is rebuking you every moment of your life, you know what I'm talking about. You know how bad it feels, how terrible it is to listen to your spouse telling you that you are not excellent, that you're not perfect. Even if she says you're perfect except for one little thing, even that hurts. How much more so towards your wife? Everyone knows the women are sensitive. Everyone says, Rabbi, my wife is very sensitive. She's not like other people. She's extra sensitive. I say this to my sister, no reaction. I say this to my mother, no reaction. I say this to my coworker, cousin, no reaction. I say this to my wife, World War III. Rabbi, my wife is extra sensitive. It's her fault. It's her problem. Let her deal with it. No, she's not extra sensitive. You behave exactly the same way when somebody says a rebuke to you. You break down. But if you want to call your wife sensitive, let it be so. So therefore, if your wife is extra sensitive, you have to treat her with extra sensitivity. If your wife is extra sensitive, you have to treat her with extra sensitivity. It says like this: because women's tears are faster to come, therefore the punishment for those who hurt a woman is faster to come. Chas v'shalom. It means the way Hashem judges you is according to the outcome. Not always it's according to your intent. Therefore, if you wanted to do a kindness, but at the end of the day you hurt a person, and the person is crying, you cannot say, oh, it's not my fault, I didn't mean it. They're just too sensitive. They misunderstood my intention. No, you have to go and appease them. You have to go and apologize. You have to go and explain. That's not what I meant. I really wanted to help. So too with your wife. If you tell something to your wife and she takes it the wrong way, you cannot say, oh, it's your fault, you misunderstood. That's not what I said. If she misunderstood you, that means that your words were exactly the way she understood. The meaning of your words is the effect that it has on other people. If the person you're speaking to gets hurt from your words, then the meaning of your words was hurtful. That means you did not think properly about how to phrase it correctly. You were not careful enough to consider another person's view. How will she understand my words? How will she feel if I say it to her? My friend might make a joke out of it. My friend might say something to me back at my face, and we're gonna laugh at it, and everything's gonna be fine. Why is she reacting like that? Why is she all of a sudden quiet? Why is she crying? And the answer is because that is how she understood your words. And that means that your intonation, your tone of voice, the words you chose, your look, the expression on your face, convey to her that you disrespect her. Convey to her that you are rebuking her. And she was hurt. She felt bad. And she's crying. And therefore, you have to apologize. And therefore, you have to appease her. So, we all know it is very difficult to speak to women. Those of us who are married have experienced it firsthand. Those of us who are not married maybe have experienced it with their mothers or their sisters, but it's nowhere near the same with your wife. Your wife is much more sensitive because she's more reliant on you. A wife depends on her husband more than a sister depends on her brother, more than a mother depends on her son. For the wife, the husband is number one. For the wife, the husband is the king. And therefore, if the husband is not happy with the wife, the world falls down. And we cannot treat our wife like we would treat any other man, and not even how we would treat any other woman. The wife sees in us the main person in her life. Her life will end if she does not get approval from her husband. And therefore, how should we treat our wife? We have to treat her with utmost respect and care, like a crystal vase, with the same care that one wrong move, it's gonna fall and shatter to pieces. We have to polish it, handle it with care. So we learned one important point. What is hateful to you, don't do to your friend. Who is your friend? Your wife. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your friend like yourself. Who is your friend? Your wife. What is hateful to you? Rebuke. What should you avoid? The most, rebuking your wife. Don't tell her anything negative. Don't tell her that you don't like how she looks. Don't tell her that you don't like how she cooks. Don't tell her that you don't like how the house looks. Only praise, only positive. In fact, one time, the sages asked an old man, tell us, how is it that you have lived with your wife for so many years until ripe old age, in peace and harmony? The old man said, whenever I came into my house, I became blind. As soon as I entered through the door of my house, I became blind. I did not see anything. I did not see the mess. I did not see that my wife was not dressed beautifully. I did not see children making tararam. I did not see anything. Why? Because I learned it from Hashem. When Hashem created Chava, what did he do to Adam? He put him to sleep. Why? Because as he was creating Chava, blood and flesh and bones and sinews, he did not want Adam to see. So he blinded him. He put him to deep sleep. Vayapel alav tardema. He put very deep sleep upon him. And I learned from it that whenever the wife is not in a perfect state, whenever the surroundings are not perfect, I have to become blind. And that's what I have been doing my whole life, my whole married life. As soon as I come home, I turn my blind eye towards anything that might not be 100%. Therefore, I never rebuke my wife. And therefore, we had Shalom Bayit, we had peace and harmony and love all these many years. Now, try it yourself. From now on, don't say anything negative to your wife. Because in addition to them getting hurt at that very moment, they will remember it forever. Our wives are better than the best hard drive. They're better than SD card and cloud storage. They remember everything forever. They will never forget how you spoke to her. They will never forget how you looked at them, what your comments were, what your facial expression was. They will remember everything. And they will remind you until the day of your death all the ways you mistreated them. So therefore, it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk of telling your wife about how you really feel about her performance. So take this upon yourself as the single most important piece of advice. Never rebuke your wife. With this, you will fulfill the mitzvah, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your fellow like yourself, and you will fulfill the flip side of this mitzvah. Madesani alach lechavrach lo tavi. What is hateful to you, don't do to your friend, who is your wife. And always remember, what is the most hateful behavior to you is when others rebuke you. Therefore, don't try to educate your wife. Don't try. Her parents tried already for 20 years. This is what they accomplished. You will not be better than them. So don't try. You will only make it worse. Take this upon yourself to close your mouth whenever you want to say something negative. Why are you late? Don't say it. Didn't you tell me? Don't say it. Where's this? Don't say it. Why does it smell over here? Don't say it. Always be quiet whenever you want to say something negative. Think to yourself, Madesani Allah, if somebody would say to me, I would hate him, I would hate his guts, I don't want to hear anything negative about myself. So I'm not going to say it to my wife. This is what I want to tell you today about Shalom Bayit, about the importance of it, that this is the most important relationship in your life. That's what will open the gates of Gan Eden for you. And the most important piece of advice I can give you about Shalom Bayit today is never say anything negative about your wife or about her behavior, about her performance, about her accomplishments. Only positive. Through positive, you will inspire her. Through positive, you will make her happy, and then she will try to make you happy in turn. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should all have Shalom Bayit. Now, let me switch gears and speak a little bit about raising children. We know that Hashem spoke about Avraham very, very special words. Hashem said, I love Avraham because I know that he will raise his children in the path of Hashem to pursue righteousness and charity. Why does Hashem love Avraham? Why did he choose him? Because our Chachamim say that Avraham was not only trying to make himself great, but he also cared about his children going on the path of Hashem. That means, in comparison to Noah, Noah said, as long as I will be saved from the flood, that's enough. I'm going to be a tzaddik. Ish tamim tzaddik haya bedorotav. Noah was a tzaddik, but our sages say that Noah was a tzaddik in a fur coat. What does it mean, a tzaddik in a fur coat? It means that there are two ways to warm up yourself. One is to put a coat on, and another one is to turn the fire on. What's the difference? If you put a coat on, you're putting the coat on yourself. No one else is getting the benefit. But if you turn the fire on, you're helping everyone in the room. So Noah was a tzaddik in a fur coat. He wanted to serve Hashem, and he did. He wanted to be righteous, and he was. But the entire generation went lost. Compared to that, Avraham was different. Avraham said, it's not enough for me to be righteous. It's not enough for me to serve God. I also want others around me to love Hashem. I also want my children to be on the path of Hashem. And therefore Hashem said, I'm going to choose you. Avraham didn't have children yet when Hashem chose him. But Hashem already saw in his behavior the care that he showed to others. The fact that he did not only care for his own growth, but he also wanted to help others to come closer to Hashem. We have limited time on our hands, and sometimes we have a choice. Should I invest in myself, Or should I spend time with my children? Playing with them, doing homework with them, learning Torah with them. Maybe I should become a Talmid Chacham. And maybe I should only spend my time in Beit Midrash, in a synagogue, learning, growing, praying, because I want to have a good Gan Eden. I want to have good Olam Haba. I want the greatest reward in the next world. So I should take care of myself. And the example of Avraham teaches us that even though it's true, you have to take care of yourself. You have to learn as much as possible. You have to attend daily prayer services when they're available. Be there on time. Pay attention. Pray with kavanah. But you cannot forget about your children. And even though your own growth will suffer, even though you will not learn as much because you will have to teach your children things that you yourself already learned long time ago. And you taught your first baby, and then you taught your second baby. And now, again, you have to teach your third baby the same game, the same skill, the same page of Chumash or Talmud. And you feel like you're wasting time. But Hashem will love you for it. This is the example of Rabbi Preida. There was a Rav in the Talmud who had a student who couldn't learn, and he had to spend 400 times to tell him. He has to spend a lot of time, 400 times to tell him the same thing, only then he got it. And as a reward for his dedication, he received long life. He lived 400 years. So don't think that I'm wasting my time by teaching my children. I'm wasting my time by playing games with them, by taking them on a walk to the park. No. All the money that you spend for yeshiva, all the money you spend for their clothing and their food will go to waste, chas v'shalom, if you don't spend time with them. You're spending thousands and thousands of dollars for your children. Don't let it go to waste. All they need is a few minutes every day from you. What do they need? 5 minutes a day. Spend 5 minutes a day on each child, doing their homework with them, explaining to them difficulties. Spend 5 minutes a day playing with each one of your children, or 5 minutes a day speaking to your children. That's all they need. Active participation, active time. Put away your phone, turn off your TV, no internet, just you and your child, preferably one-on-one. I always remember the story that Rabbi Wallerstein said about his father, that he used to come home only once a month. But he said that he did not feel that he's missing on his love, because he knew that that one time a month that his father is going to come home, he is going to take him to the backyard and they're going to play ball with him for half an hour. Even though it's going to be only once a month, but he knows that his father loves him. So too, our children don't need a lot of time, but they just need to know that we love them. How will they know? When we tell them that, yes, I'm busy, I'm very busy, but I will make time for you because you are important in my life. You are so important in my life that I'm willing to put away things that are important. Yes, it's important, my business, my clients, my Torah learning. and whatever else I may be involved in, and we're all involved with important things. And it's important for our children to know how busy their parents are. And I'm putting all that aside for you. Yes, but Dad, what about your clients? They're going to call you. It's okay, you are more important. Yes, but what about your chavruta? You're more important. Yeah, but what about your mother? You're more important. You put the phone away and you do not answer to any distraction. Not a neighbor, not a friend, sometimes not even your wife. You tell her, yes, I'm going to finish with him. In 5 minutes, I'm going to come. And he should know that, yes, you're busy. But when you do have free time, you will give it to him. And sometimes people say, Rabbi, how can you have so many children? You're not going to have time to spend with them. And my answer is exactly what I told you. All you need is to spend 5 minutes with them, to look them in the eye and to speak to them, to smile at them and to listen to them and to answer them according to what they are telling you, to show them that you are concentrating on them, that they are special in your life. And if you have 5 minutes for a child, you don't need so much time. Even if you have 10 children, you can spend quality time with all of them in under an hour. So, what we have learned today is that your wife is number one in your life. Your children are number two in your life. And you have to make them feel like number two in your life. You have to make your wife feel number one. And to your children, you have to say, Mommy is number one. And you come after Mommy. When you happen to serve your wife, and your children also ask you for a cup of water, you tell them, first, we give to Mommy. First, I will help Mommy, then I will come to you. And your wife will do the same. Every spouse has to treat their spouse as number one. And you might say, yes, but isn't the whole goal of marriage the children? Peru urevu? Aren't we getting married in order to have children? And the answer is no. You're getting married in order to take care of your wife, in order to do the mitzvah of ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, to love your wife as yourself. And then, once you achieve that, you spread your love to your children. And your children become ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And after you're taking care of your wife and your children, you can spread your love to others. Who are others? Who is number 3 on the list? That is your parents. Now, finally, we come to your parents. Your wife, number 1. Your children, number 2. And your parents, number 3. That means that whenever there is an argument between your children and your wife, whose side do you have to take? Your wife. If there is an argument between your parents and your wife, whose side you must take? Your wife's side. If there is an argument between your friend or your neighbor or your boss or anyone else in the world and your wife, whose side should you take? Your wife's. Even though you feel that your children have a point, even though you feel that your wife is being harsh and stubborn, nevertheless, you have to take her side. And we know that whenever you do the right thing, you never lose. If it's the right thing to take your wife's side, must be it will always work out for the best. If you take your wife's side in her arguing with children, the children will get a valuable lesson. They will learn that father and mother are on the same team. Therefore, I cannot trick them. I cannot go behind one of theirs back and complain or ask for permission from the other parent. They will understand that the father and mother are on the same team. They will also understand that the mother deserves respect, because they will see how the father defends the mother. They will see how the father respects the mother. And therefore, children will respect the mother much more. When they will, chas v'shalom, see that the father disrespects the mother, they will disrespect their own mother. And then they will say, if the father is disrespecting the mother, must be that mothers are not such holy, such high, such important people in our life. And a mother is a parent. And if a parent is not important, and we don't have to listen and respect, that means the second parent is the same. He is also a human being. And therefore, we don't have to respect the father as well. And you are shooting yourself in your own foot. By disrespecting your wife, you're causing your children to disrespect their mother and to disrespect their father. And then such children will be lost in the world. Such people will have no role models, because if they cannot respect their parents, they will not be able to respect any adults in their life. From the behavior in their house, they will learn the behavior towards their teachers, their rabbis, their community leaders, and everyone in authority they will not take seriously. And they will, chas v'shalom, end up in a not such a pleasant place in this world and in the world to come. So imagine, just by taking your wife's side, you are sending a very powerful message to your children. And they will respect both parents equally. They will learn and they will stay away from trouble just because you take your wife's side. And even though they will cry and they will complain that you and your wife are being unfair, and that you didn't hear the whole story, and that you're taking the wrong side, it's okay. Children are very resilient. As long as they know that you are consistent, they will understand. Oh, the father is always taking the mother's side. He doesn't care about the truth. He's just taking mother's side. They'll understand. They'll understand that you're not standing for the truth. They will understand that you're standing for your wife. That's the right thing. Sometimes standing for your wife is more important than standing for the truth. Because being right is more important than the truth. Doing what's right is more important than the truth. In this case, husband's respect of his wife is the right thing to do. Even though the children might be telling the truth. But we cannot run after the truth at the expense of our wife's defense. So again, we learned very important things tonight. Number one, we learned that the gate of Gan Eden is only going to be open for someone who has good reviews from people, and the most important people in his life. And they are his wife, number one, his children, number two, and his parents, number three. Everyone else will constitute a minority of the weight of reviews, because Hashem is looking for expert reviews, not just some mass reviews written by a computer. He is looking for expert reviews. Who is the expert on your essence? There are 3 people in your life who are experts on you. And they are your wife. She knows exactly who you are. All the bad in you, she knows. Your children and your parents. You might say they don't know, but they see through you. You know how many times wives call me and they tell me things about their husbands? In the meantime, the husbands are thinking that they are the greatest. They're thinking that the world stands on them. And they don't know that somebody is deeply hurt. And do you know how many times children call me and they complain about their parents? And in the meantime, parents think that they're doing the best things in life. They think that they're raising the wonderful children with the best methods. And in the meantime, the children are suffering. And do you know how many times parents call me to complain about their children? And in the meantime, children are thinking that they're growing in religion, that they're becoming tzaddikim, closer to Hashem. And in the meantime, their parents are crying. And they're so confused and stressed out. We should not, chas v'shalom, be surprised when we come to the next world and we find a whole file filled with complaints about us, chas v'shalom. And sometimes I think to myself, here I am listening to people's complaints that who they are addressed to, those people don't even know that somebody is upset at them. Who knows? Maybe there are many people who are upset at me. Maybe my wife is hiding something. Maybe she's not telling me. Maybe my children are upset. Maybe my parents. Maybe my neighbors. Especially my downstairs neighbors who hear the running and banging and screaming. Why are they so quiet? Maybe they have complaints and they're silently suffering. Who knows how many people I'm hurting? Chas v'shalom. I do not want to be surprised. I would rather find out here in this world and fix it. And of course, I would rather be careful and not hurt people in the first place. To think my every step and my every move and my every word. Not to hurt people. Not to hurt your wife. Not to hurt your children. Not to hurt your parents. So, now that we know the 3 most important relationships in our life, our wife, our children, and our parents, we have to make it our life's mission to learn about marriage, Shalom Bayit, communication skills, to improve our marriage and our relationship to our wife. We have to dedicate our life to chinuch, learning how to raise children properly, not to hurt them. And we have to learn about kibud avim, how to respect our parents in their lifetime and after their passing. That way, when we come to Shamayim, we stand before we will stand before the gate of Gan Eden, and we will proclaim, Pitchu li sharei tzedek, open for me the gates of Gan Eden. Avovam, I will come in. Odeh Yah, and I will thank Hashem. And the gates will open. They will open wide, and the malachim, the angels, will say, Ze hashar ladonai, tzadikim yavovo. This is the gate of Hashem. May this tzaddik come in like all the other tzaddikim. And they will escort you in. They will welcome you. And they will only show you the file filled with praises that your wife constantly prayed in the morning, and she said, Hashem, thank you for giving me such a wonderful husband who is respecting me, who is helping me, who is taking care of me in every way. And you will be proud. And you will see another file filled with your children's happy praises. Hashem, thank you for giving me such a wonderful father, such a caring father. Hashem, thank you for giving me a father that took such good care of me. I'm so grateful to Hashem that he gave me such a father. And they will open yet another file, and it will be written there, letters from your parents. Hashem, we're so proud of our son. Thank you for giving us such a wonderful son. Thank you for guiding him on the right path, giving him the right yeshiva, rabbis, and guidance, that he became such a righteous man. He respects us so much. We're proud of him. And every other person in your life will only have good things to say about you. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should only do good. We should only love those that are close to us and those that are far. Our wife, number one, our children, number two, our parents, number three, and then everyone else. With that, we will merit entering the gates of Gan Eden, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we will have good life in this world and in the next. At this time, I want to thank you for all joining. Tomorrow evening at the same time, we will have a talk from Dr. Akiva Perlman, and you can use the same link. If you have questions, you can stay and ask, or you can send them on the chat, or you can contact me directly at 845-825-7906 on the phone, on text, or on WhatsApp. Welcome for listening. Have a good night, and Shabbat Shalom.